All right, so we here at the Big Ash, and we just gonna sit down. You know what I mean? Have a conversation, and just be real. Talk as men. You know what I mean? Given a lot of people don't see us talk about certain things. Maybe it's uncomfortable or whatever, but we're gonna sit here and talk. You know what I'm saying? We got Van Riley. You know what I mean?
Appreciate you, man. I'm happy to be here. Happy to see a bunch of good men together to just build and share ideas, share wisdom, keep it respectful, and like he said, just build, man.
Then we got the future mogul right there.
Don't put that pressure on me.
Pressure for
I'm happy to be here. I'm ready to, discuss some topics, man. Ready to build, ready to, combine our minds and get some thoughts out there.
All right, we're gonna go right here because we gotta save a legend.
There you
go.
Gotta
save a legend. Happy to be here, man. I appreciate you, making me part of this platform. And back at you, I see a lot of things that you're doing through social media, and I'm just happy to be a part of it, man. You know what I'm saying? Whatever you're trying to do.
Yes, sir.
So Lamar, I'm sorry not to cut you off. What are you doing? What is this place again?
This here is
Thank
Big Ass.
Thank you for the accolade.
I'm Lamar Pearson. This here is Big Ass Cigar Lounge.
Spell it
and
out.
not Big Ash ASH.
Yes.
Cigar Lounge, and my partner and I, Mark Morgan, we put this together because of our love for cigars, but we also love to have people, brothers, come together and just share conversations, share thoughts, and cigars probably the perfect way to combine those. Most of great conversations happen over a good smoke, a good cigar. So that's what we're trying to do here. Exactly what you're trying to do.
And then we got a legend right here.
Yeah, my goal is, I told them when I first came here, this was going to be my home resting home. This would be, I like to smoke my cigar, relax, getting into the games and things. And my one thing I really want to say, this was the thing that was a dream of mine, that I was going to be doing this one day.
Oh, nice.
This was a dream of mine.
Nice.
I've been going around, but nobody would never give me that play.
Nice.
So now this is the play.
That's what's
So
up. We need your name though.
it's a Benjamin A. Pickett, but they call me West Point Benny.
Hey, West Point Benny. But
I
that's cool.
do a lot of, get back to me though, in my field, I did a lot of training in the military, drove all the generals and things, and then try to lift up the cadets when they get a little problem. I take them to the curb and talk to them, and build them up. That's my goal.
Nice.
That's my goal.
That's what's up. Well, as you see, we cups is still full. You know what I mean? So, real quick, how y'all feel about the whole Kyrie thing now? Like the whole Kyrie situation.
You and I were just talking about that, man. When you have that kind of platform, that kind of celebrity status, and that kind of money and influence, you can't afford to be silent, man. Especially when you're going through something. Whether it's, emotional, mentally, physically, whatever your challenge is, you got to share that, because there's people out there that's going through the same problems in silence, and they don't have the resources you have, so they're probably going through it worse.
And he could be that inspiration.
He could save their life.
Right.
I mean? He can get somebody to say, okay,
That's true.
I have that same problem. I need help. I need somebody to help me. Because if I don't get any help, I don't see any way out of this tunnel. And
That's what
he's supposed to do.
That's what you feel more so him leaving. You just feel like he should have voiced his opinion. I mean, voiced, what he was going through.
And if if you're not in a position mentally or emotionally or physically to talk about it before, at some point you got to be raw and say, this is what I was going through. You can't just say, well, if it's not your challenge, if it's a family member and they don't want to disclose that information, that's one thing. But if it's something that you go through, you got to make a choice, man. You got to make a choice. Listen, I got to put it out there, man. Like, perfect example. Ron Artest, Meta World Peace. He went to the same high school with me, man. We knew he had challenges back then. As a grown man, professional athlete, the first thing he did when he won his championship, I want to thank my psychologist. You know what I mean? So he put it out there, and then other people say, okay, he empowered me, man. I can still do great things and have my challenges and still need help and get the help I need and be successful. So
that's true.
When he did that, man, I had my respect went from here to here for that man when he did something like that. So that's how I feel about that.
At the same time, I feel like people need time, like that's kind of like me. Like I don't put everything like out there on social media. I'm not a celebrity though, but at the same time, he's a celebrity. He might not be used to doing that. You know, he might not know that's what he signed up for when he became a basketball player in the public eye. He might still have that private, you know, lifestyle or mentality. So it may take him longer to, you know, express that. You know what I'm saying? That's how I feel.
But for me, I feel like you got a certain responsibility. Sign contracts. They know about media.
Yeah.
You getting paid nearly $40 million. You dig what I'm saying? Like there's a responsibility that goes behind that. People like this. I got 2 kids. If I feel some type of way, I still got a responsibility. You kind of that responsibility is still there. You know what I'm saying? Right. And at the same time, he could have just. I feel like he could have said what he needed to say. Number one, I think it would have helped a lot of people who like. And Kyrie Irving saying that.
Mm-hmm.
He
my favorite player.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like Kyrie Irving saying that. You know what I mean? And right now, it seems like there's a lot of like. The thing with the stigma with men and mental illness, like we don't say nothing.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying? And he got all the money in the world to do it. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying he's his own person, whatever. But you got responsibilities to just say it in the forefront. So then we don't. They criticize the mess out of him, yo, while he was gone.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And that could be part of the problem. Like that's like asking somebody if they're mad. And then they start getting mad, because you keep asking them. I mean, maybe he started seeing the criticism before he could have been already about to talk about it, but everybody starts, oh, you're supposed to say something. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Everybody need their time. Like he might have needed some time to think about or handle that situation. He gonna come out. I feel like he should come out when
you said that though. When
he's ready.
When you said you're right, he needs time, but we were talking about the press conference after the fact. And he disclosed that he had some things going on personally. Yeah. That's for me. That's his opportunity to say, okay, now you got the people that want to know, especially these young kids out here. Why was my star athlete?
Yeah.
Athlete out?
Okay.
What was going on?
And I feel like he's coming along. You know what I'm saying? I feel like everybody's different. You got to give that man some time. That's how I feel. Like give him some time.
I'm giving him $40 million though.
I'm gonna tell you this. I hear what you're saying. But he called the press conference. If you're not ready, don't call the press conference. Once you get behind that podium and people want to hear what's going on,
there you go.
You can't say, okay, well, I want all y'all to get here for me to say that's the personal stuff.
Right. There you go. You're right.
I think he has a kind of shaky relationship with the media. I think he doesn't trust the media. So, like along what you said, is that the team is one thing. Right. Like you were saying, I'm paying you 30-something million, every year, 40 million almost every year. You need to let us know, because he just seemed like he just bopped and didn't say nothing. You need to let us know. The media is another thing. Like I want to get my message out the way I want in the time, saying that I want to.
Because if you told the organization could have been like, they could have broke that to the press, like, yo, he's taking personal time. Yeah. You get what I'm saying? He just bopped on the organization.
Yeah. But then I could have sworn in his interview, he said he spoke to the players, they were supportive, and the coaches were supportive. So didn't he say that to the players?
I don't know, but I understand. I see where you're going with that. He took care of the people in the locker room, his teammates, his brothers in arms, and all that. But then you still,
with the organization though.
But I'm going there. That's what I'm saying. You got a responsibility not only to the organization, but believe it or not, to your community, man, to your kids. Because I'm just talking about Kyrie. Now I'm talking about he's not a rookie. Nah, he's been in the league for some years. He got some rings. He played with some mega stars. He's been on the highest platform of professional sports. I don't really buy that he's not ready to be able to talk on the podium and share some of his personal experiences. Because honestly,
I haven't followed him, so I don't know.
And I really don't ever talk about just from I've learned this morning. Actually, Legette was sharing with me. When he had the press conference and stuff, and from personal experience, man, if you give people the opportunity to control your story.
Oh yeah.
Of course. Your narrative, and I'll give you a personal story real quick, not to dominate the conversation. But my father suffered from mental illness. Whole life. Since I was 2 years old, he had a challenge. Yeah. And I was never told your father suffers from schizophrenia. I was never told that until I was probably about 16, 17 years old. I was always under the assumption that my mother did that to my father. And then my grandmother used to say, that's why you don't trust these girls out here. They drive you crazy like they did your daddy. I grew up not trusting women. You see my point?
That's why,
Tell the story.
Tell the story. That's right.
I turned the negative into positive. I got my bachelor's degrees in psychology because I wanted to know what's going on, if it's going to happen to me or not. You know what I mean? So, but if I didn't do that, I would have had the damage or the scar of saying I don't trust no females at all
Yeah.
because of that.
Right.
Yeah.
So to shift the conversation a little bit. So it's a profession. Like as a profession, project manager now doing community matters too. As a profession, when I'm a professional. When you give me the title of profession is my profession, I take my profession extremely serious because my profession helps people, feeds people. There's a lot behind that with profession. So I'm gonna go to you, Mr. Pick, as far as profession. You know what I mean? You're retired, am I correct? You're retired, right? So you put your time in.
Right.
So as far as like profession, like what you do, profession, like how do you pursue that? You know what I'm saying? Like how do you feel like you should pursue your profession and keep that longevity?
My goal it's something that he brought up, not so much getting in that part. My goal was once I retired, that was my thing, to go around to teach people that don't understand about life, some of them. And my goal was to try to lift them up. Like, say you down and out, I'm just using it as an example.
Yeah.
I want to be there to pick you up right then, not wait till tomorrow. I want to start right then and give you that play so you make sure you're on the right road. But what we continue to do, we'll see a person and we'll look at them and we just turn our back on, don't want to build them. Like, I'll use a good example. When I started out at West Point, I started out at $2.10 an hour. I'm just using that as a good background. People laughed at me because I didn't go to college. But the government sent me to school now, but I started out digging ditches. But I'm just using it. One time in my lifetime, I came home down and out, and I had a wife there. She sat beside the bed and said, "What's your trouble?" I said, "I didn't go to college," and they laughing at me. She said, "Well, let me explain something to you right now. You see, don't you have a boss job now? You bring a government car home every day. You got your own office."
Right.
What did she say that for? Ain't stopped since.
There you go.
Ain't stopped since.
Yeah.
Because she lift me up. But
Right,
like you were saying there, if you don't bring it out now and you keep holding it in here, it's going to kill you.
No, I understand exactly what you're saying. And as far as I know, you took a turn in profession at one point in time because if I'm right, you were in a different field.
Oh yeah.
But then now you're into real estate. And I know real estate is that's a heavy profession.
It is.
What made you want to take that profession and then be professional, be that good at what you do?
You know what? I don't even know how. You know what I mean? Because I got into real estate right after high school. I tried it out. You know, I heard there was a lot of money in it. So I was like, let me, skip the college route, go get my real estate license. Didn't work out. You know, I did it for like 6 months. I was like, nah, this ain't for me. And then I worked a bunch of.
You stopped it?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
like when I was 20. Yeah. I went to Dutchess. I failed out of Dutchess. Got my real estate license. I did it for like 6 months. Company in Poughkeepsie. I did like one rental. Didn't do any sales. I was like, this ain't it. So I picked up a couple of jobs here and there. Started working for like the state, people with disabilities. Then I circled back around. I circled right back around to it. And I got back into it this time with like a different mind state. Just a whole different look on life. And then I got back into it saying like, I'm going to, focus on the business first and then let the money come after that. Okay. So got into it. I just focused on building my business, relationships with people, building connections, and then it just went on from there.
You became a true professional.
I became a true, and I developed a passion for it.
But you broke it down first. You had to break it down.
Instead
of going straight at it for the money, you broke it down first.
Yeah, broke it down. You got to build yourself first, and then you get to
right
build
now,
other people.
So we gotta like, let me put it like this. As we move as men in society for a long time, men are looked to be like, tough, and we're supposed to provide. For me, I want to go into like the responsibility of a man. You know what I'm saying? And this is just from what I've learned. I have my father, and my father was there every day, right? I'm gonna be totally honest with you. Me and my father never had to throw the football. Just that he was there, he provided, he paid the bills, but we never had that relationship. You know what I'm saying? But I loved him. He took care of everything, but we just never had that
love,
that father. We just never had that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But from him, I looked at like the responsibility of a man. No matter what, you take care. Because my father, he worked at IBM, and then eventually they let him go. My father went to work at McDonald's. Mm-hmm. I was a teenager in the car driving through. My father there serving out the meals. I was proud. I wasn't even embarrassed and that's taught me like the responsibility of a man. So me growing up, I'm like, I always gotta provide. You know what I'm saying? Like sometimes when I see people and they like and men, and then they still, everybody with the kings and all that and kings and everything. I think the king, they gotta be easy with that a little bit. That's just how I feel. Because I've always looked at responsibility of a man first was to take care of your responsibilities, your family, and everything. And that's what I do. And then I just added on to it. You know what I'm saying? I took the portion of my mother, the caring part, and I added that together. And then I just put it all together. So as far as like today's society, you have men, but then you got some men who just out there and it's just like they kid live around the corner.
Yeah, that title. That title was thrown around too freely.
You get what I'm saying? Like responsibility of a man. Sometimes I think it's lost and it's a blurred line. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So being called a man and a king, like if somebody if I'm calling you king, like how do you?
I feel like similar to what you're saying. Like, I understand where it's coming from, but we say it to like uplift each other. Like,
I was just gonna say,
from to uplift it, but everybody wasn't
what
a
I
king.
see you have the potential to be.
What I see you got the potential to be, but but everyone wasn't a king back then.
Right.
Some of us were laborers, some of us, and we have to sometimes come to that realization. Right. Similar to what you guys, the stories you guys had, like the same deal. I got laid off, and it's funny you guys are talking. I'm sitting here listening. I'm like, damn, you guys' lives so much parallel to mirror mine. My mom worked for IBM. She got laid off. You know what I'm saying? I worked for IBM. I got laid off. I started real estate, did it for 6 months, and stopped because the money wasn't there. You know what I'm saying? And, kept having to, pivot in life, you know what I'm saying, until, I found something, you know what I'm saying? But it's, it's just, I had to realize that I always wanted to be in an office setting, you know what I'm saying? Because I thought that's where, I'm a smart kid. And I feel like that's where I can make the money. And then I always, tried to strive to those, but like, certain jobs, it just wasn't there for me. But I always had the knack to work on my hands. But I didn't, like trade school. I didn't go to trade school. But I worked at IBM. And they taught me, like they saw I was good at working with my hands and I was smart. You could show me something once or twice and I could pick it up. You know what I'm saying? So I worked there for like 13 years, got laid off, and I kept getting other jobs. And I kept forcing myself, I wanted an office job. But now, like once I settled in and I realized, okay, I work for Global Foundries over there. It's the same at the IBM site. I work there now and I fix equipment, but I make good money.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm an electromechanical technician.
Nice.
And I never went to school for it, never did anything like that. I just picked it up.
But he's a professional. You know what I'm
saying?
Yeah.
That's your thing.
Like me, a bus driver. That's my first.
Hey, listen.
I'm a bus driver.
I can just pick things up. I can watch you do it.
From a little boy.
Yeah.
Like he said, from a little boy, I used to sit in church and play with a steering wheel. And my mother used to take from me, but she couldn't stop. I kept right on getting up with a steering wheel.
And you said you
you
still work there now.
I went through, a bunch of, I've been there like 20 years. I worked at IBM for 13.
While you were still doing this?
No. We just started this in June.
Oh, nice. Okay.
We got this going in June. Okay. But I work there now. Yeah, I still work there now. That's my full time. Working nights. That's my full time gig. You know what I'm saying?
That's so crazy.
So yeah.
I don't mean to switch the topic, but I did want to kind of talk about like the relationship between like entrepreneurship and having like a 9 to 5.
Mm-hmm. All right, so hold on. We're going. Hold on. We're gonna say that one. We're gonna say that one. But we had the opportunity to go inside, get some good cigars.
Definitely.
We'll go pick the cigar. You gotta tell us about your business, man. Got the cigars ready. Everybody pick their cigars out.
Yes, sir. Once again, big ass cigars. Trying to have a place where people can come and just share ideas, pretty much. Just talk. But yeah, we have the acid cigar for Leggete. Am I pronouncing it properly?
Yeah, Leggete.
Leggete. I'm saying Leggete. And you got the acid too. What was your name again, bro?
Hamar. Hamar. Yep.
Hamar.
Yep.
I want to make sure I pronounced it correctly.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
These two are the most popular. Drew Estate makes those cigars. Those are Connecticut wrapper. They're flavored cigars. They're the most popular of his brand that are flavored cigars. Acid, Blondie.
They got a nice
they're
sweet
called.
taste to it.
Nice
Yeah,
sweet
yeah,
taste
I
to
remember
them.
the sweetness.
Yeah, they're the most popular. He makes a lot of sweet cigars. We had a few others there, but that's the most popular of it. And you had La Aroma de Cuba.
Talk about it.
Mi Amor, that's a Nicaraguan
Talk about it, baby.
wrapper. It is a medium to mild. Those two are mild cigars. That's a medium to full body. Gotta hear it. Make sure it's not crunching. Make sure it's not too hard or dried out. But yeah, that one there is a Nicaraguan wrappers, medium to full body, a little more stronger than the two that you guys are smoking. And
They'll get there. Listen, gotta call before you walk, right?
That's right.
Usually the lighter wrappers are called Connecticut wrappers.
set that up.
You see the light tan color ones, and those darker brown ones, those are Maduro wrappers. They're usually called.
Yeah.
And usually the rule of thought is that the darker the leaf, the stronger usually the cigar, but that's not always the case. And Mr. Pickett, he always gets this. It's another line from the same guy, Drew Estate. This
Feel
is
better now. I
Yeah.
feel a little better.
this is Sweet Jane. It's a newer line that he has. It's a flavored cigar, but he's a newer. And you see this one is a Maduro wrapper. It's a little darker wrapper. That's a really good smoke. And this also, I try to keep in line with the Drew Estate. This guy, he also makes this here. It's Undercrown and medium to full body Maduro wrapper from Drew Estate. This one's a good smoke.
So, how long you been here? We need your address so people know where to come.
The address is 448 Route 376 at Hopewell Junction. And we've been here since about June, so a little more than 6 months.
Nice.
We've been in business. Hard time to open up during the COVID era, but yeah, we getting through. Like
Great
things
environment.
worked out.
Did-
Yeah.
Great atmosphere.
We want to thank you for letting us do this today.
Thank you
know
for
what I'm
having
saying?
me.
I came here. Van invited me here. Matter of fact, I had my first cigar with Van. Showed me how to do a cigar first time at the cookout, and I always looked at cigars like. I ain't gonna front when you first gave it to me. I was like, I want to call for it because they was looking cool out there.
I'm on the spot. I said it's time.
That's right. There you go.
So he gave my first cigar and then invited me here. I was that day you came.
Yeah, where we at
We
before?
were
that?
Just
somewhere.
finished looking at a house or something, or just
I
putting an
think
offer or
so.
something like that.
It was something.
We
But
had
No,
an
we went
event.
the block party on Lynch Street.
Oh,
yeah,
yes,
on
yes,
Lynch
yes.
Street,
I was like,
yeah,
I
and
know
then
it was
everybody
an
said we
event.
came here.
Block party didn't hear.
And when I came here, like the atmosphere was so chill to the point where like
Good vibe.
I was like in Poughkeepsie, like we ain't got nothing like this. Like the vibe, it was, and it wasn't just like older. It was like the age range. But even we young. Me and Hamar, we young.
Yeah.
Like we young compared to y'all, but y'all not old. I want to put that out there. Too. Y'all not old, but compared to y'all.
brother,
So,
mold.
but the
Yeah.
atmosphere was so chill to the
Yeah.
point where like it made me want to come back again and like just like relax. It was a spot where you just like it was like a relaxed spot. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So I had to do something like this here because of the vibes. You know what I'm saying? So
grown folk business. Man.
Grown
Facts.
folk business.
Nah,
And then you
glad-
got a guy
glad-
called Marlo. He'll make you laugh
Yes,
all
sir.
night.
Yeah, man, Marlo comes here.
He'll make you laugh all night.
And the conversation.
But I'm glad that that's working. Like
You're right.
You're getting that environment. That's
You're
what I'm
right.
trying to
yeah,
portray. you
nah,
know?
you
It's a
got it.
laid back, cool
You
environment.
got it.
So were you like a cigar connoisseur? Like you love cigars, and what made you come up with the business?
I started smoking like in my 20s, and it was because my grandfather always smoked.
Yeah,
And I just looked up to him as, I saw that he, I don't remember, I don't have too many memories without him having a cigar in his
Yeah.
mouth, And once I got in my 20s, I just thought it was like, a status thing, or something like that, or something like you guys are saying, grown folk do. So I started smoking, like on occasion, like holiday, when I had extra money in my pocket, you know what I'm saying, I'll buy a nice stick or something like that. And then it just became, more often. And then sort of had friends that were, that liked it too. So we just smoked a lot. And then I was like, hey, I want to lounge, you know what I'm saying?
Nah,
It's a great
that's
conversation piece, man. It
Seriously.
opens up a conversation.
Hey, right. Like you were saying too, like I like about, he always treats you with kindness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, things he get in here, like certain things that I ask, like certain drink, like that grape drink or pop. I'm a popcorn freak.
Oh yeah.
And so he got the popcorn, he
All
got the
type of
cookies.
popcorn or just like butter popcorn?
Just like the regular popcorn over there. It's like a, what you
Those,
call that? Over
White
there?
cheddar.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
me.
okay, okay.
Oh, the white
Eat
cheddar.
5
Yeah.
bags of that.
I
Yeah.
love the white cheddar popcorn.
But getting back to me, anything, what I like about him, anything you ask me, a cigar you want to bring in,
Yeah.
if he can get it, he'll get it for you.
Nice.
He don't play around, say, oh, I'll next week, or
Yeah.
he'll get it right then on the money if he can.
Right.
He don't play around and he ain't gonna do this, he ain't gonna do that. He texts us when certain thing like this here. I'm told him yesterday, I saw it come up last night. I said, you know, I ain't missing nothing. I retired. No, this is my word I use all the time. I retired. I got plenty of time on my hands.
Right.
But I goes. Now, if the nursing home was back open again, I goes to all that.
Yeah.
I do all that function. Nursing home, talking to young people, elderly people. But I'm going to say it one more time for this. This was a dream of mine a long time, and I didn't know when it was going to happen. When he told me that night, he don't know he opened that door. That's all I can tell you. That was my door.
So to take from this, we're talking about cigars. Like I said, you saw your grandfather with it. I always looked at it as grown people, a grown people thing. So let's take that. So what? You know, right now in Poughkeepsie, we're looking at young people like killing each other. We're talking about 14-year-olds, 15-year-olds killing each other. So what do you think is like missing from the aspect of the man? Because at some point in time in your life, you become the man. Even the kid who has the baby when they're young, you got to become a man. So at some point in time in life where you hit that man stage, right? So what's missing in between that stage that's making these kids like kill themselves? Because is it the man not interjecting, saying, you know what I mean, that might not be a kid? Like, what do you think is like missing? Like, what's missing? Why these kids are falling into the whole gun violence and everything?
I could tell you,
You know what I'm saying?
My philosophy is, since you brought that up too, like I use me. I adopted 9 babies.
Oh, nice.
Adopted 9.
Man, you gotta write a book or something. Yo, man.
Adopted 9 and took care anywhere between 2 and 300 in between. I had a 32-room house.
Oh,
It
wow.
started out 27 room, all that. But getting back to the kids, what it is, if I could bring the ones that I adopted in here, and they walk in this door right now, it's sir, still to the day, and yes, ma'am. But they will tell you, Daddy didn't play. I didn't throw them upside the wall, but I set them to that table, and they got their chores. If you ain't did your chores, you get nothing.
Right.
If you don't bring that out to, but what it is today, it's just sometime, what you say, one more thing, fathers don't take time enough with their kids.
Right.
You got to stay there with them. You can't be sitting on the bar stool talking that junk all day.
Right.
And then you got your kids running in and out the house a certain time. Mine had a certain time to be home. Their chores had to be done.
Yep.
Like I got one, the last daughter would tell the story. What happened? His car parked in Zara's parking lot. His car. The woman that had her, I don't know who she is, came and threw in the back of with a T-shirt. 0 weather like this. 2 more hours, she'd have been dead. But anyway, getting back to her name is Bethy Ann. Her name is still up in one of the rooms in St. Luke to the day. But getting back to her, she's a nurse today because she listened to her daddy.
Yeah.
What I'm saying, you got to stay there and talk to her.
Right.
You can't say, oh, go out, I'll give him a piece of candy, let him go on outside, I'll be all right. And you want to do your thing. You're already grown already, so now you got to take time. You want them, you got to take care of them.
So
I don't know if you guys got that. Real quick.
Discipline.
He was saying
Discipline, definitely.
there was a baby dropped off in Newburgh,
right.
put in the back of a car, just wrapped in a T-shirt, and baby was gonna die. Said he has his name up in St. Luke's Hospital. The baby's name's up. He adopted that baby, and now that baby's a
That
nurse.
made
today.
9.
Wow.
That baby's a nurse
I caught
today.
that.
You know what I'm
Nah,
saying?
nah.
Yeah.
that made 9.
But you got you had your growth. You're part of a fraternity, which I need you to plug.
Okay.
Okay, but there's a brotherhood there.
Right.
Okay, so as far as ways that saying join a fraternity puts you in that brotherhood that maybe some of these young kids need to look forward to, like the fraternity life, and I mean a brotherhood.
Yeah, so I'm a member of Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated. We're a national organization, been around for 109 years, and I'm the vice president of my local chapter. But getting to that piece of brotherhood, I wanted, and I sought out that brotherhood, that mentorship, that fellowship, you know what I mean? But, you know, it all ties into the manhood component. What I think a lot of these young men specifically are lacking is a rite of passage to say, I'm not a boy anymore.
Yeah.
I'm entering into manhood. And we have distorted views of what that is.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta slay these girls, that's gonna make me a man.
Right,
I gotta
right,
sling
right.
these drugs, that's gonna make me a man.
Right.
I gotta beat somebody up, that's gonna make me a man. I
There you
gotta
go.
kill somebody, and then I'll be seen as a man with respect.
Right.
Those are the distorted views of a rite of passage from childhood to manhood that we gotta get past. We gotta have events. Other cultures have events.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That says, okay, I am no longer a child. It's a big formal event. Other cultures have it. Introduce their
Almost
kids.
like a bar mitzvah. or
Yeah,
something like that.
exactly.
Yeah.
In different cultures, they have different names, but
Yeah,
these
yeah.
are all rites of passage from childhood to adulthood.
Right.
We don't have that. You know what I mean? And then when we don't have that, again, when we leave room for these kids to make these own decisions on how they become an adult, they get real distorted views of what's going to make them an adult. And they do destructive things, and that's the problem. And what a lot of these kids don't do is have anyone to put them in a position to self-reflect. Put them
Right.
in front of the mirror and say, who are you?
Right.
Who
Right.
do you want to be?
Right.
Because if you can do that, if you have the ability to reason and want to change, now you have the responsibility to do it. Because responsibility only means I'm able to respond.
Right.
So now I have to do it. And I did that plenty of times. I'm like, you know, my parents and my family, they grew up in and out of the prison system, in and out of the drug game. So I said, I don't want to sell drugs. So I applied my hustle to real estate. I don't want to have just a big family of people out there doing destructive things. I want to be part of a brotherhood of people doing positive things.
Right.
I don't want to grow up and, you know, look at my life and always be reactive. I want to be proactive. You know what I'm saying? I want to grind. I want to make an easier life for my kids. And then I grew up without my mother and my father. My grandparents raised me. So you talk about, we said you saw your dad at McDonald's and you was proud of him. I saw my dad on a pretty much regular basis. When I was in junior high school, we used to go to lunch down the corner, pizza shop. My father was like on the corner talking to himself, drinking, smoking. And kid, my father was 6'4", 6'5", you know, real light-skinned brother, and intimidating. So kids like, who's that? I had to force myself every day to say, that's my father. I'm
Right.
14 years old, but I got to swallow it.
Yeah.
For a minute, I got teased. After a while, they, oh, that's just Van's dad. So I fought through that. I said, that's my father. I'm never going to not acknowledge him. But that made me stronger. And then now when I
That's
grow up,
right.
I know I want to make my kids proud.
Right.
I also said to myself, you know, people come to me and say, you know, how you know how to be a good father if you didn't have a good father. I said, well, to me, that's a little easier now because I don't have nothing to gauge with. I just try to give my kids everything that I never got, that I always wanted. You know
There
what I'm
you
saying?
go.
So, and that's what it is. But being an adult, you know, bringing up kids, man, it's not an easy task, and it also takes more than one person to do.
Right.
It
There
takes,
you go. That's what
it
I'm
takes
saying.
a village. It takes all of us.
It
Right.
does, and with those shootings and everything, with kids dying, me and APJ Boxing decided to do the Hook program. So it was a boxing and mentorship program, and it was mainly to get kids off the street and teach them that hard work pays off. Because at first they come in there and they don't know how to box. So I'm, oh my God, I'm tired. This. Before you know it, they threw a nice jab. By that second session, like nice jab. They're like, all right, well, now they feeling like they can't. You know what I'm saying? But you got to go through these things. You came and mentored. You talked to them, and after the program was over, number one, they were better fighters, but they actually started talking more and really talking about. We talked to them about what y'all want to do. A lot of them. There was some kids who was just like, I don't know, because they've never been asked the question.
Never been asked that
You
question.
get what I'm saying?
Oh,
and
sad, man.
people, I think some people thought the program was just to do it. No, that program was to put young men in front of men to ask them those questions and make them feel more comfortable. One kid came up to me one time was like, "Hey, because in the beginning I was talking about school. I was like, you come here, but I still want your school to be good." He came like, "Yo, I'm not doing too good in math and everything," and I sat on the phone with him with his math. You feel what I'm saying? But he had nowhere else to. Right. But because we put ourselves there for those kids,
Right.
it gave him an outlet to be able to do it. He could be like, forget it then. Then call it attitude. I don't want schools. Yeah. But we helped him with that. But to finish all this up, if in this world, as you know, as men in this world, you know what I mean, we provide, there's responsibilities, we gotta look out for the next generation. I wanna ask y'all, just for y'all to tell me, like, what's your, like, right now, like, what's your drive? Like, what drives you to stay who you are and become a better person? You know what I'm saying? Like, what drives you right now?
Well, it goes back to what you just mentioned with me. And I mean, what you guys both touched on. It was just like imagery. I feel like, you know, with how these kids are coming up, and you said you asked a kid like, hey, you know, what do you want to be? And some of them, they've never even had that question, you know, posed to them before. And it's like, they don't have positive images of us, you know what I'm saying? As, you know, as men, you know what I'm saying?
Close positive
Close
images.
positive
They always look at
images, yes.
it, but close positive images. Yeah.
When I graduated high school, I went to Virginia State, and that was the first time I seen. I'm from Beacon, you know what I'm saying? All my teachers, I remember one teacher was black, you know what I'm saying? Coming up, I went down to Virginia State. All the teachers were black, you know what I'm saying? You know, the faculty and everything was black, and that kind of changed my mindset, you know. All the, you know, women down there was black and everything, and it just like changed my mindset, like, yo, oh, we can do this, you know what I'm saying? Then with IBM around 99, 2000, I transferred to North Carolina, and my manager was black, the engineers were black, you know what I'm saying? So it gave me an image like, yo, we can do this, because I've never seen a black engineer before. You know what I'm saying?
So black excellence, pretty much.
So black excellence,
That's
you know what I mean?
That's big what you're talking
So
about.
black
Seeing that.
excellence,
That's
and it was
big.
just like, oh, we could do this. You know what I'm saying? When I,
Motivate,
you know, even coming from here, I'm from the old school Beacon, not what Beacon is now, but you know what I'm saying, from the old school Beacon, we ain't have those images.
Shout
you know
out
what
to
I'm
the
saying?
Black Excellence Gala.
Yes.
Yeah, you know, so you know, I think it's imagery, like, you know, with everything you was just talking about before, like they just have to see, you know, like what you guys are doing in the community and all, they have to see that. They have to see more of that, you know what I mean? And you know, deal with them, you know, like, you know, be in their lives, you know, talk to them, you know, because some guys don't have a father figure. I didn't have a father figure around, you know what I'm saying? My father wasn't in my life, you know what I'm saying? So it was like, that's, you know, why it was big for me when I would see, you know, in college, you know, see the professors were black, and they took, because you are, you know, black, and you know, they took a little, you could feel it, that they took a little bit more time with you, you know what I'm saying? You know, I had when I was in IBM, you know, the guy the site manager, you know what I'm saying, I interviewed for a promotion. I got the promotion, but he liked me, you know what I'm saying? He put me into this engineering program, you know what I'm saying, to work with engineers, you know what I'm saying, on the site. And he was like, yo, I like the way you interviewed, you know what I'm saying? I want to meet with you twice a week so I can see you know, how you progress, you know what I'm saying? And they dropped me, they dropped me into an engineering program. Everyone around my desk was black women, black men. They were engineers. So they threw me under wing, you know what I'm saying? And it's just a beautiful thing, you know?
Yeah,
Your drive.
my drive, like I just said, my drive is mostly, like I say, teaching them young people. That's my thing now.
Yeah.
That's all I want to do now is talk to young people that's out there on the corners, out there in the street. I always say what they can't do, you can do. And the Obama say, yes, we can. We can do it.
Right.
And my drive was in work, what he was just about saying. What made me a really, really man, I was on 300 acres of land in the South. 300 acres. 5 tractors, 5 mules, 5 horses, 200 cows, 200 pigs, chicken, billy goat. And they took a picture of me standing behind all this acre cotton field. I said, you know what? This ain't going to get it when I graduate. When I graduate, I'm getting the heck up out of here. And from that day on, I motivate every day. Every day. Like you say, with no father, I had a stepfather. He was mean. Oh, please, I don't want to get in that. He was mean. But I never went to jail. Where he made his biggest mistake, too. This terminology, he said, knee high to a duck. You probably don't know what that meant. What it meant, he said, I would never prosper. Telling a 9-year-old kid. Said I would never prosper. That was the worstest thing he could have said to me. I'm wearing something for my mother to the day for here. We almost killed her with an axe. They was arguing with that. I still gave the man credit when he turned 91. I never held that grudge. Looked up to him and just gave it to God and kept going. And then, like he was saying in another thing, if we don't learn how to get out there and get it, ain't nobody gonna give you nothing.
That's a fact.
That's my last word right there. Ain't nobody giving you nothing, bro. You gotta work.
100%.
Get it.
Your drive.
That's right.
My drive now is my daughter, but before that, she's 8 months, by the way. Before that, you know, to be honest, I always wanted to just challenge myself. You know, my pops, he's from Jamaica. He came here, I think in his 30s. You know, worked a county job. My mom, she's American. She's been here. She was a social worker, still currently. And I don't know. I just had something in me where I just wanted to like do more. I didn't want to settle. You know, I've always been like passionate about work, but I always was passionate about business ever since I don't know when. But I just had this drive in me, man. It might sound cliche, but I just had this drive to just be better, you know, and do more than just you know, clock in and clock out. That was just my mind state ever since I was young, man. So I learned, I tried different things until I got to that point. And now I'm at a point where I'm just trying to be better than my yesterday.
Yep.
What do you do now again?
Oh, I do real estate. You know, I'm a real estate broker, owner now.
What's the name of it?
Because you got your own, right? You got your own. You got your own.
That was a great segue. Thank you. You know, I got into the real estate. Like I said, I got my license, real estate license, regular salesperson license. I started working for a company, a big box brand company. Did that for like 5 years. I went ahead. I said, you know what? You know, I just don't want to be a salesperson. I want to step it up a notch. You know, so
There you go.
I found out what the next notch was. I already knew, you know, being a broker is the next notch. And being a broker, you can open up your own company. You can work under the same brokerage as an associate broker. So after I got that, you know, I was like, let me be an associate broker under the big box brand. And then after doing that for like literally like 2 weeks, I was like, I could do this myself. You know, I built my clientele. I built my network myself. Like, I definitely.
So you there? You got your own? You saw your own?
So yeah. So long story short, I started my own.
Here we go. That's what we're trying to get.
I started my own brokerage, Clark Realty and Associates, based out of Poughkeepsie, but I do pretty much. And I'm doing a deal in Albany right now. So I sold Van a house, Mr. Airbnb over here.
You're gonna sell me a building.
And
I'm already looking. You're gonna sell me a building.
Next, but yeah, I started my own brokerage. I actually currently have 2 agents working with me. I don't say under me. They're working with me because we're all a team. That's how we gotta do this thing. So yeah, and I look forward to you know doing, you know, better business than I ever did before in my life.
Congrats, bro.
Thank you.
Excellent.
What's your drive, man?
I think, you know, next to my kids, which I have 3 of them, age 22, 19, and 10. Outside of that, I'm driven to motivate and encourage people just to do something different, to change, man. You know what I'm saying? I can't. That's what's at the forefront of my mind, because a lot of these kids don't think they have options. They think that the story that was put in front of them is the one that they have to play out.
Facts.
You know what I mean? And for me, like I said, man, you know, I grew up with nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like for me, I grew up with when I moved up here from Harlem, the projects in Harlem to up here, when somebody pointed the projects to me out up here in Poughkeepsie, I said, man, these look like suburb townhouses. You know what I'm saying? So this was an upgrade for me. So I would never feel like I'm up here. I'm just always encouraging, motivated to tell people, yo, you can do something different, man.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You don't have to, you know, the cards that's dealt you play them to the best of your ability. Then you know what? Change the game.
Yeah.
Change the game, do something. And that's one of the things I did when I was younger, man. I partied like anybody else. I hung out like anybody else. I started my own security business in my mid-20s. I had that for about 18 years. But I was no different from everybody else except for one thing I wanted to do different. I said, well, if I'm doing everything over here on the left, maybe I'll just do one other thing different, and that's going to change the course of my life. For me, it was everybody has their own thing. Right. For me, it was get into real estate. For me, it was maybe take a class at Dutchess Community College. You know what I'm saying? Just to say, okay, well, I'm doing all this crazy stuff over here like everybody else, but I'm going to do one thing that's going to be planting seeds for my life to be better in the future. And I just want kids to try to model that, to just live it where you say, okay, well, I can have fun, I can do all these things, but I got to do something to position myself to be better in the future, man. 'Cause, you know, if we just kick, 'cause, you know, everybody got that family member that's, you know, that's crazy, what's her name, or that's silly, what's her name. They get that stereotype or that title put on them. You don't have to accept that, man. You know, everybody got Crazy Joe in their family. He crazy because everybody kept telling him he was crazy, and guess what? He believed that. You know what I'm saying?
Yep,
So,
there you go.
you know, it's like, nah, that's not who I am, who I want to be. Like I said, look in that mirror and say, what is it that I want to do? How do I want to change my life? Because eventually, you're going to have to realize you ain't just living for yourself, man. You know what I'm saying? It's really not.
That's a fact. That's 100%.
And I'm going to plug him. You know, I look at younger brothers, and like I said, I'm not an older man like that because I'm still learning, I'm still growing. But I look at younger brothers come with that energy, man, just doing things, and you know, we can get complacent. I was saying to my brother, if I just roll this out, I'm comfortable. But who am I helping? You know what I'm saying? I need younger brothers to come along and shake it up and say, okay, now don't forget that you got to keep giving. You got to keep, you know, not just giving your resources, but your time, your story, your ideas, and your encouragement. So when he invites me to these events, man, I'm really appreciative of that because I can come out here and I get a chance to just talk and tell my story. And if one kid could say, hey, man, that sounds like what I'm going through.
There we go.
Oh, man, I could do
That's
that.
why I say
you know what I'm saying?
teaching.
Yeah, I could change my life. I could be better. I don't have to deal with the family members that's pushing drugs on me because I don't want to sell drugs. I don't want to go out there fighting everybody every day. I want to be friends with people. I want to be a good person. But if I do that, I'll be seen as a punk or a sucker or a sellout. There's no such thing. The sellout is the person who doesn't give back to the community.
That's right.
You a sellout if you stay in the hood and try to bring the hood down. You the sellout.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? So we need to break that stereotype immediately. You know what I'm saying? The no snitching, all that stuff, man.
Right.
If you keeping the hood down, you the sellout. If you get out of the hood and you do something different, then come back and pull from the hood, you the champion.
That's right.
So that's my story.
Just to finish it all off, with my drive is just just to see conditions get better for like everyone. So my drive is like, for example, Community Matters 2 is put together first to clean up the neighborhood, as they say, the hood, clean it up, because I feel like the environment you live in makes you feel a certain way, which you touched on. If you got garbage on the ground all the time, you're going to call it the hood. I look at why the hood got to be dirty.
Right.
You plant some flowers in front of your house, the projects, ain't got no flowers. Put some flowers out there then. Clean it up a little bit. Take pride in where you come from. So my drive is to show people that different thing. And at the same time, the people from the outside that criticize us on the inside, I want to pull them in so they understand, like, nah, we good people. This regular people. Maybe we don't have the same resources as you. So I want everybody, I want to be able to, with Community Matters 2, I want to be able to give everybody the understanding of the other person. I want to build a network where everybody intertwines, where at the same time be a hub. If that kid has a problem, I want to be like, hey, I'm going to Legette, I'm going to Community Matters 2. Oh shoot, I just saw Hamar on their event. Yo, Hamar, how you like the house thing? Like, you know what I'm saying? Just giving that network to touch. My job is to help everybody, especially where I come from in Poughkeepsie. You know what I'm saying? We were raised, you live right up the street. We went to the same school, we seen the same things. And for example, like if somebody died in our school, it was just like, oh, but now it's just like another kid died. You know what I'm saying? So I want to be able to reach those kids and just give them an outlet, man. Like, just like, I'm here for you, I understand what you're saying. I understand your language. I understand you might be mad right now, whatever. Instead of putting a system in place where it's just like, well, this is what happens when they're like this, and then you just, nah, bro, come, let's just like this table right here. Let's talk. Let's talk and share. So my drive is like just to help everybody and actually let my children see that as well. Like, this is, as a human being, this is what you're supposed to do. I strive to be the best I can be. I'll never, ever hit that goal because I plan on being better every single day. So I'll never hit that goal. You know what I'm saying? So everything I leave behind, the best me today, hopefully it helps somebody that's coming up while I'm still up there. Yep. So every time I leave something behind, but it's still helping somebody else. You know what I'm saying? I want to build a ladder that everybody can climb. You know what I'm saying? That's why I say to everybody, if somebody reach out to me, that first initial reach out, I'm going to give it to you. I'm going to give it to you. That first initial reach out, I'm going to give it to you. We going to talk. You know, after that, we'll see what happens. But I want everybody to be good. And I appreciate you guys for sitting down. This is a good conversation. For real, this is dope. The Big Ash Cigar Shop here in Hope. What's the address again?
448 Route 376.
Right. So it's a conversation of men just talking and chilling. It's Black History Month, man. You gotta sit down, man. We gotta talk more. All right.
Yeah.